Hello everybody, this is Gwyneth. This is a short note on a couple days of this week. I wanted to talk about some select aspects that I think impact everybody in different ways in their charts. I felt this is critical because I sort of glossed over, I felt anyway I did, the full moon in Libra. I think it's impacting so many things on so many levels for people that I know that I really wanted to talk about this. So we're looking at the dates of Wednesday, April 1st, Wednesday the 8th, and Thursday the 9th. I'm recording this on the 9th. I've been reflecting on this for a few days. I wanted to bring it to you. And then what I'm also going to do is cast around some cards for each one of the signs. This is not extensive, but it's important to have this information in your back pocket, I think. Also, one of my very good friends, who's a Sagittarian, contacted me and said I left out the tarot portion of the Sagittarius reading. I'm going to dig a little deeper into the Sagittarian information as far as it relates to the cards. But for the most part, this is going to be a short forecast. And if you want more information, of course, you can always get a hold of me at cottagetarot.com. So I'm going to take a brief pause. I'll be right back to you. Okay. Let's start out. Let's back up. Let's go look at Wednesday the 1st. What we had occurring on that day was a full moon in lovely, harmonious, lovely is only putting the most minor fine point on a Libra moon. Libra is ruled by Venus. Really, Libra is all about beauty. Every Libran baby, or a baby with Libran rising, is not to say that not all babies are beautiful, but a Libran rising soul is spectacular in their ability to resonate that Venusian energy. Libra wants to find a meeting of the minds. The energy of Libra wants peace and harmony in our time. Anytime. It doesn't matter where it is. Librans in general like to see their homes and their environments organized and beautiful. So if that isn't you, you have other aspects in your chart that, maybe set that off a little bit. But I wanted to mention that because it's the Libran full moon is a culmination of activities and projects that you've been involved with for a goodly amount of time. And in some cases have been working diligently to tie up, loose ends. We finished our Mercury retrograde and you felt like you could move forward, and that was really great. And so with a full moon in Libra, we're looking for a gentle, harmonious way to pack up the boxes, get organized, and move on to the next project or situation. What was occurring simultaneously, for some of you who follow me diligently, you know that I told you that Jupiter in Cancer was square to that full moon in Libra. And Jupiter is always big. It's always loud. It's always, a very full volume energy field. And it was also at 12 degrees. And it's in the sign of Cancer, which is all about security and family and warm blankets. The full moon in Libra was saying, that's really great, and I like nice blankets, but maybe we can put the emphasis in other places besides hearth and home. And in that nature of the Cancer, they were saying, but that takes precedence over anything else. And Libra was saying that what we really need is balance and harmony. And, you know, it's really great for you people who have children and families and farms, but what about the politics of the situation right now? Or what about, you know, the organizational things that we have to take care of? Needless to say, both of these signs are known for their diplomacy. Many Librans are lawyers. Cancers are often in the public eye, taking care of business that relates to everything from banking to agriculture. They're very astute at those things as well. But this is a real square off at the very beginning of the month. And the reason I bring it up again is that it set the tone for everything to come over the next few weeks. If you follow astrology, you've heard the pundits, people out there who talk astrology all day long, like myself, talk about that we will have 7 planets in Aries by the time we get through to the 26th. It creates a fiery, dragon-breathing energy. Mars rules the sign of Aries. It's, you know, about the warrior. It's about the fighter. And everything in the astrological kingdom right now is moving into that Aryan sign. So to start the month off, we have the full moon in Libra duking it out with Jupiter, which is, you know, larger than life, very loud, and a little bit gassy. Okay. Keep that all in mind, because I add the gassy part just to be humorous, but hey, there is an element of Jupiter that makes it, you know, obnoxiously obvious, no matter what sign it's in. Now, on Wednesday the 8th, Mars, which is the planet of just do it, which is the planet of, which was traditionally known as the planet of war, is in the sign of Pisces. And it's making a harmonious sextile to Uranus in earthy Taurus. That's civil. That's an attempt to try to make things work in your life, whether that's personal or political. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk politics with you ever in the way that you hear it spoken in other arenas, but it's hard to avoid the obvious. So Mars in Pisces is a little bit circuitous. It moves around in the back and kind of moves around quietly. You know how fish move through water? Well, Mars in Pisces is taking that very energetic, even argumentative energy and trying to push it down, but get its way anyhow. As it sextiles Uranus, and Uranus is all about technology and creative, out-of-the-box thinking, it's trying to shroud everything in this very earthy, pragmatic, but technologically savvy apparel. So even though the Mars in Pisces sextile Uranus and Taurus is by itself not necessarily a sign of upheaval, it's also a sign that tells us, it's an aspect that tells us that there's something going on behind the scenes. And that's my dog barking. He's been sent to his room so that I can do this podcast for you. It's also a sign that something has been planned out, that it's a little bit more complicated and convoluted than we're being led to believe. Now, this could be occurring in your own chart. You could be dealing with somebody in your life who is like this. You could be going through a situation where you're trying to get a loan and it's become very complicated. And there are backroom discussions about your ability to carry the loan that you're applying for. You know, you probably understand what I'm saying. And we're going to look at that in a minute. That's why I chose 3 transits, because these are complex. These are not necessarily simple intellectual ideas to grapple with. This is affecting body and soul at this time. And for so many people, it's affecting their pocketbooks directly. So, you know, the term hedging your bets. This Mars in Pisces is a disruptor. But when it sextiles this Uranus and Taurus, it's forced to find a creative, inventive, somewhat unconventional approach to problem solving so that we can get on with business. That happened on Wednesday. If you're with me and you're having a hard time right now in your personal life, some of this could have been, played out in your life so that it's almost like watching a play. Right now, the political scene described a situation very similar to that, and it asked for us to, sort of follow this, and then last minute there was an order to stand down. I'm not going to say this was a drama fantasy or a pre-planned threat with full knowledge that they weren't going to do anything. I'm not going to say that. But with this particular transit, it's very, very complicated, and it's not clear, no matter where this happens in your life, whether it was an unspoken accord, a premeditated arrangement, or simply happenstance. I'd like to think that people are, in general, I'm kind of Pollyanna about humans. I always think that they have our best interests at heart, particularly those folks who are in leadership positions, whether you are a store manager or a choreographer or a politician. I'd like to think that our situations are much more often, I guess I should say, taken into consideration, so that our feelings, our hearts, our hopes, our dreams, our wishes are given credence. But as I've gotten older, I have to tell you, I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore that that's the case. This is a deeply psychological transit. Mars in Pisces, sextile Uranus in Taurus. It not only does it impact us on a psychological level, when this particular transit occurs, it's almost as if it's toying with our emotions. And that's not good. On Thursday the 9th, which is today, and if you watch this a couple days down the road, you can look back on it, Mars enters Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars in the astrological kingdom. Mars is about action. I always call it the just do it planet. And Aries is a take no prisoner kind of energy. It's also commanding. I know a lot of very gentle Aries people, but when they need to rally, they can, and they know exactly what to do. So Mars enters Aries today. Who takes charge now? Because that's what this energy is about. Who will be the person, the group, the corporation, a body within a school? You know, if you work for say you work in a public school, who takes charge at this point? Maybe somebody has stepped down. But there is the notion right now that leadership is required. And because of the previous activities on Wednesday the 8th, where we had the Mars and Pisces sextiling, which is positive, means that there's an accord brewing, but it's between Mars and Uranus. Extremely, you know, powerful major planets in our collection of planets that we work out of. This is an important, undeniably important transit on that Wednesday, the 8th. If you know where Mars is placed in your chart, you can look at it. We'll be talking about that in a minute. But Mars always shows the world, or if you're working with an astrologer, it shows the astrologer where you get fired up. In the charts of athletes, we can point to that Mars energy and tell whether you are involved with athleticism at all, or if you're, you know, some kind of professional athlete, you can almost pinpoint it in a chart. Well, it's the same with everybody, though. Wherever Mars lights in your chart, and in what sign it's in, and what degree, and what it relates to, it gives a real insight into your fire, or the fire in your belly, so to speak. And when Mars is in Aries, if you're one of these folks, it doesn't take a lot for you to get fired up. This is, you know, your power base, and you have to learn, as a person with Mars in Aries, to control that fire so that it burns steadily and it doesn't burn you out. I hope this is making sense. It's so much fun. I have Mars in Pisces. And then the other thing you want to look at is, because my water boils. It may take a little while, but I get fired up. If you're a person with this Mars and Aries energy, you've got to be feeling so many deep, puzzling nuanced feelings at this time. With all of the planets moving into Aries, it's probably forcing you to, you know, find ways to decompress and relax, because otherwise you're just constantly upset or angry over something, because that's the condition right now. So we've so far moved right up to the 9th here with a like heightened awareness that things are changing. I wanted you to have that information. I feel like it's important that you understand how it's affecting you personally and how it's affecting the world on a global level, on a political level, and even to some degree a religious level. I'll be popping back in to give you more information, but for right now, this seems like a lot. Now, what I want to do is look at the 12 signs. I won't spend hours on this, and I will timestamp these so that you can readily access them. This is based on a rising sign arrangement. So for instance, if you are an Aries, I will place your sun sign in the position of the ascendant, which is the first house. And every sign is placed, you know, that comes up in that first house position. This is so, and then you can also relate it to if you have Aries moon or an Aries sun, and if you do indeed have an Aries rising, this is perfect. If you know your chart and you know that you have, say, you're an Aries sun, but you are a Cancer rising, then you can just go look at Cancer as well when you're looking at these reports. Okay, quick break so I can get a glass of water, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to start out with the fire signs: Aries, Sag, and Leo. Actually, it's Aries, Leo, and Sag. And then we'll move into the air signs, earth sign, and water. So let's see what happens next. Find ways of decompressing. If you like what I'm doing, please like, share, and subscribe. Share this channel with people that you care about, and see what comes of it as they listen to this, and see how it relates to their lives as well. Okay, I'm going to take a break. Be back in a minute. Hello, Aries. Let's do a quick analysis of where everything is landing for you. Well, obviously, the full moon in Libra, I talked about this last time, is in your 7th house of long-term partnerships. And then you have Cancer, which is creating a square to that 7th house. And Cancer is in your 4th house. So there could be a push-pull between your partnership, whether it's business or otherwise, and your home life, or your family, or people within your family. So that's one of the, you know, the power plays that's occurring, has been occurring since the 1st. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces sextiled Uranus and Taurus, as I said before. And Mars in Pisces for you is in the 12th house. And Uranus and Taurus is in the, I'm looking for it here in your chart, in the 2nd house of finance. So again, this could be a willing or a determined application of analysis to your financial situation to find out if you can do something that you have wanted to do forever, that you feel deeply about. Possibly you want to start a goat farm, or you want to join a religious order, but you're checking on your financial situation to see if you can make this happen. And then lastly, with Mars entering Aries, you know, Aries, it's all about you. I mean, let's get real here. This whole period of time from now until almost the end of the month is about your personality, your issues, your Arian concerns are taking center stage. You know, are you ready to change your life path? Are you interested in changing what you look like, what you wear, how you impact people, how you speak, how you walk? What is happening with you at this time in this particular historical period, which it is? Where do you fit? And Aries in your first house is making everything point to you. So let's pull a couple cards here just to round out the picture. This is for Aries. Positive change. This is big. This is really big for all you Aries people out there. Aries, 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 Aries. We'll take it, right? No matter how fired up the world seems to get, it's affecting you in some incredible ways. The Emperor, this is you. You are moving into your position of power. You may be falling in love or being given something that you'd love to have. The Ace of Cups. It's creative. It's gentle. There may be the birth of a child coming in. This is maybe what this is all about for some of you. Good news. And lastly, it's time for a vacation. Four of Swords. With the heightened energy of Aries. I've been asking all my Aries friends how they're feeling. But with this heightened energy pulsating through your chart and all those planets moving into Aries, you're probably ready for a break. And on that note, I'll move along. But keep this in mind. Take care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And until next time, I'll see you then. Okay, Leo, how are you? With the full moon in Libra, it is opposite Aries. And that in itself is very important. But with you, Leo, that moon in Libra is very harmonious and can really make you feel good about yourself. With Jupiter in Cancer, it's in your 12th house. So, you know, it could be the desire to travel, to explore your world has been there for a long time. But maybe right now you said to yourself, well, I don't see myself doing that. I'm raising sunflowers and I have a farm. How can I travel? Well, this will be one of the issues that you deal with. And that's all very, metaphorical and whimsical. I'm not saying that you actually raise sunflowers, but this could say to me that you could have a push-pull between your desire to be free and learn and travel and explore and the thing that you thought you really wanted. Mars in Pisces for you, Leo, is in your 8th house of transition. All types of transition, whether it's, taxes, sex, death, buying a new car, getting changing your hair color. It doesn't have to be big. But Mars in Pisces, sextiling Uranus and Taurus, is interesting because Taurus is in the area of your 10th house of career. So transition could definitely be at the forefront as it relates to your work. and where you're taking your next steps in your career. Mars entering Aries on the 9th is going into that 9th house, it just happens that way, of learning, thinking differently about the world. I always think of it as, you know, metaphorically going to your library and spending hours moving through every book you can get your hands on some particular subject. But that's what this period is like for you. You're glowing up. So this is interesting for you Leos, and it's very exciting too. And somewhat disconcerting, because the path you thought you wanted to be on could be changing. Let's take a look at an oracle card for you. Teacher. Are you ready to be the teacher? Are you ready to share your knowledge? Leo. Queen of Wands, this is you. Non-gender specific, I always say this. Queen of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries. The highest level of something that you're doing comes out in these cards, the Hierophant. And you're very lucky right now. You may have somebody that's very interested in your talents. My God, you can't make this up. We've gotten two of the heavy hitters, the Hierophant and the Emperor. The Emperor is only one step down. So these two are in agreement over who you are and what you bring to the table. Very interesting. I'd like to hear what happens. So, Leo, take care. Be well. I'll be back after the 15th, and you can check and see what we're up to then. Sagittarius. Okay, let's jump right in here. The full moon in Libra. Where does that hit you? It hits you in your 11th house of organizations, corporations, administrations, all the Asians. And it also is your dreams and wishes. So it's really a 1-2 punch. And it squares Jupiter in Cancer. And Jupiter in Cancer for you is all about the transition house. So something is going on with a large body, whether, you know, it's church, state, your work, or your dreams. There's a major transition occurring, and you are knee deep in it. So keep that in mind. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces, which is, where is that in your chart? That is in your 4th house of home and family, makes a harmonious aspect to Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is in your 6th house. So there's a comfortable, creative workabout between the work you're doing and your family life. Your work is supporting your home and family. It may not always be easy, but it's working. And there may be a reason you're trying to either take a vacation or get away, or for some of you, I happen to know that's the case. But it's, you know, whatever you're working on right now, also in the work world, you have to understand that whatever shimmy has occurred or is occurring within a large organization, and I mentioned the full moon in Libra, it has sort of been pre-planned. The Uranus in Taurus, it hits you in the area of work and your well-being. So, you know, there's a need to find a balance between taking care of yourself and making sure that the needs of the home and the people within it are also at the forefront. On Thursday the 9th, Mars enters Aries, and Aries is your house of love, children, and creativity. Mars is about energy, and Aries is energy, and Aries will be hitting this part of you, your children, your desires to create something. Some of you may be deciding to have a baby, or to fall in love, or to do any number of things that relate to romance. And then you will have little arrows pulsating through this particular part of your chart for the next, at least the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So keep that in mind. You know, until the end of the month, Aries is flowing through that 5th house in a very big way. And we have other planets that, you know, Saturn is in Aries, and Neptune moved into Aries and will stay there for 27 years. So that will be moving through this 5th house. So, you know, you could meet somebody because they intuitively feel connected to you, whatever. This is the marker for this period of time. Now, Sag, let's take a look at your cards. I'm going to pull cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Colette Baron Reed, one of my favorite artists. I love these cards. They are beautiful to begin with. They're sliding around because they're so, they have a very glossy finish. And let's see what they say about Sages. What card do they want? Sag, what do you want me to have here? Happy. I'm going to take this at face value. This is a good time for you to find joy, to find contentment. And make sure that you're allowing yourself to enjoy things. Don't overly obsess over anything. Try to find the fun in the things that you're involved with. Sag, what's going on? Oh, love is in the air for you guys. It's just so strong. The Emperor, you might be in a situation where you're being put in charge of a project, of something in your community. There's a victory, my friends. This is big. The 6 of Wands. There's a new start, a new project, and it's exciting. Ace of Wands, more wands. And oh, by the way, the wands are ruled by the fire signs. So this is very big. You're starting to see clearly your focal point. And this is a good time to consult with somebody. When you find out about these projects, consult with somebody that you see eye to eye with, who understands what you are trying to accomplish. There is news about money. There's a change, I think, a change in status. The Hermit, there'll be time for you to reflect on that over the next week or so. And you're at the end of a long period of suffering. 10 of Swords. Do not get overwrought over anything right now. The 8, this 9 of Pentacles makes you nervous because you can't believe things are happening the way they are. And do not fret over money. 4 of Pentacles. Because doors are opening for you, the world. I'm going to stop here. I told the Sages I would actually pull out more cards because I owed it to them. But yeah, changes are coming. So I wish you a lot of luck. And until after the 15th, check back in. I have a tendency to run a day late. But anyway, I'll try to be on time. But with that, let's move on to the air signs. Hello, Gemini. Let's get started. So we talked about this before, but on April 1st, the full moon in Libra, your fellow air sign, is in your 5th house of love, romance, creativity. Yada hey, yada ho. But it's squaring at the same degree Jupiter in Cancer, which is in your house of work. So, no, I take it back. It is not in your house of work. It's in your financial house, the 2nd. So there may be something creative that you want to involve yourself with, or there may be something you'd like to do with a love that's in your life, but you're not sure you have the money to follow through with it. It could be a trip. It could be building something in your home. It could be any number of things. So that's the standoff between Libra and Cancer for you, Geminis. And you have to fill in the blanks. You know, one area is about your children, your romance, etc. And the other area is your finance situation. Are you really ready to take a job in a totally new area and leave the partner behind on till weekends? Or is this something that your partner would like to involve themselves with? Or maybe there's a creative project that you just can't pull off because you're worried that you don't have the financial acumen to do it. Let me know what comes up with that. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces, which is in your great and glorious career area, will sextile Uranus and Taurus. And that's your 12th house. I think it's a very calculated, intellectual process that you've been making to figure out what your life purpose is, what your career purpose is. But actually, I think you've already figured it out. So I guess this is my way of saying relax and let go, because I think you're on the right path. Because there is a link between your 12th house and your career. And I think it's already set in motion, if that makes any sense. That's what I'm picking up. On Thursday the 9th, Mars enters Aries. We have a lot of planets already in Aries, and it's in your 3rd house. This will impact your ability to communicate, your desire to communicate, your desire to put ideas out in the world through writing, playwriting, dancing, whatever it is you use as your medium. And it also means your connection to siblings. So that's all happening over the next few, well, today's the 9th, but this has all been building up to this period of time, and there's more to follow. But this Mars entering Aries, because Aries is ruled by Mars, it puts the fine point on it being in that part of your chart where you have either communicated an idea, had a discussion with somebody, are going to have a discussion with somebody about some major issue that impacts you. And it has to do with, it's not the third house, it's the 11th house. It has to do with higher-ups who see what you bring through your actions, through your abilities. And Mars entering Aries means that all those planets, those 7 planets in Aries, will target that 11th house of dreams, desires, and wishes. But besides that, organizations and groups that you're involved with, or people in those groups, or people that you know who have your back, who have a desire to see you move ahead. And that's the 11th house. So keep that in mind, Gemini. More to come, but I think this is a major part of what's going on right now for you. Okay, let's take a look at the oracle cards. With all your, Geminis are very mercurial in that they're very intellectual, but with all of that, this is an important time to be creative as well. Artistic expression. Gemini, 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 Gemini. You are involved with, or being watched by, or being considered for a position of authority. You also may have somebody who is in a position to exert influence over your next steps. You have to make a decision about your direction, and you have to do it now. 2 of Swords. Time to get off the rock. There's a new project coming up. Ace of Wands. And some good news coming in. Knight of Cups. Gemini, please keep me posted. I'd love to hear from you. And let me know how things are going. Thank you. Libra. We had a full moon in Libra on Wednesday the 1st. This fell obviously in your first house, touched you deeply. At the same time, we had a square to Cancer. And Cancer affected and is in your 10th house of career. Great and glorious career that you involve yourself with. So you may have been feeling a push-pull between your personal needs and the career. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces sextile Uranus in Taurus in the 8th. So I predict, or would like to state actually, that there may have been some type of transition that occurred or will be occurring that impacts the work you do. The business might be changing. You may be given a promotion. You've been asked to head up a different division, something like that. And on Thursday the 9th, Mars enters Aries, and Aries vibrates in this part of your chart for a few weeks to come at least, because it's in the area of long-term partnerships, relationships, romantic and otherwise. And as Mars rules Aries, it's fiery, it's domineering, it's take charge, take no prisoners. It's all in your area of partnership overall. Are you happy in your relationship? Are you happy with your business partnership? Are you looking for a way to change it? This is all coming up for you right now. And since this is a short reading, I'm going to move on, but keep that in mind. So let's take a look at an oracle card for you, Libra. to be fair. So this is to keep, I think this relates to relationship very well. Always keep in mind, is it good, is it kind, is it necessary? It helps to look at the other person's perspective when you're working on a partnership. Libra, 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 Libra. You have been organizing. You've been attempting to set everything in motion. You have been focusing on your finances. There could be some important news financially. Knight of Wands, an ally comes charging in. This is the Knight of Wands. And there's a definite, total 180-degree shift. You're moving in an absolutely new direction in new territory. Gemini, we've just finished with you. I hope you're listening here, because Libra is your fellow partner. And in some ways, you have some very similar conditions, except in this case, this is about, and with Libra, it's all about long-term involvement in a partnership. But I keep stressing it could be a business arrangement. Okay, so until next time, Libra, take care and be well. Hello, Aquarius. I hope you're doing well. Listen, on Wednesday the 1st, we had a full moon in Libra. Aquarius, that is very comfortable for you. And it's one of your fellow air signs. And it is in the 9th house of expansion. I don't know how else to say it. Mind, body, your whole view of the world is shifting. But it's squared Jupiter in Cancer. So what's getting in the way of that? Well, Cancer, for you, sits in the 6th house. So you're ready to grow. You're ready to change your life. But the workaday world is getting in your way. It may be that, the job you're doing is tedious, or you're tired of it, or you find that it's not fulfilling you anymore. So this is a struggle, and that's what the square is. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces, which is in your finance house, makes a very harmonious sextile to Uranus and Taurus in the 4th. So there may be something in the home, in the family, that demands financial support, or you need to buy something for the home, or you need to remodel something, or maybe you're doing something with one of your family members. So it's copacetic. It's not harrowing at all. On Thursday the 9th, Mars in Aries is in the part of your chart that has to do with expression. All those planets that are moving or will be moving into Aries will land in this part of your chart where you express your ideas, where you share your insights, where you do things, could be a creative action that shows how you think and feel. The other thing is, with Aries in this 3rd house, it's also impacting your siblings, or you might be interacting with siblings in some way. So keep that in the back of your head as you go through the week, because although this is happening on Thursday, it will resonate for a while. And take a look at the other forecast I gave. It will dovetail with this. I have to also say that next week will also highlight more of the same. So check back in with me after the 15th. All right, Aquarius, let's take a look at an oracle card and then pull a few tarot cards to go with it. Aquarius, 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 and take care of your body. Drink water, purify, purification, burn incense, get into salt baths. It's good for you. You've surrounded yourself with a lot. I'm picking this up for some of you. A lot of people that are pulling on you. Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. There's a new project that you're working on. Ace of Wands. You are a little concerned about the financial implications and whether you can balance it all. But it'll be all right. Queen of Pentacles means enough. There's enough money. There will be a victory to what you're doing. So if you've been worried about the outcome, I think it'll be fine. Okay. Aquarius, I want you to have a wonderful week. And until after the 15th, I'll talk to you soon. Hey, water signs, welcome. This is a reading right now, forecast for Cancer. Oh, Cancer, so much is happening. With the full moon on the 1st in Libra, this has been a little bit taxing because it really impacted your hearth and home and family. As it squared Jupiter in Cancer in your first house, you felt that there was a push-pull between your own needs and the needs of family. And maybe, you know, too many parties. It doesn't have to be terrible. It could be that you know, there's parties, you have to go to them, or I don't know, wedding rehearsals or whatever. And you have had very little time for yourself. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces, your fellow water sign, in the 9th house, made a harmonious sextile to Uranus and Taurus. And Taurus is in the 11th. So you could be meeting new people that have power and deep pockets through your travels. Through your educational situation, you could be meeting with a group. Or your work that you do in various corporations or large organizations is in joining you or encouraging you to go for more education. So that's the climate right now as Wednesday the 8th percolates. On Thursday the 9th, Mars entered Aries. And for you, Cancer, Aries is an interesting sign, not necessarily the most compatible because it is a square, but that is in a solar chart that we've laid out here. That's your 10th house of career. So you might be focusing right now on what it is you actually want to be doing and what you'd like to be spending your time with. And all of those Aries planets are going to march their little goat feet through the 10th house, which is the career that you've trained for, the community involvement, the things that you do to make, you know, money for your family and for the homestead. Because let's face it, Cancers are all about their home and the people within it. So that's what's going on, and that will be going on until the end of the month at least. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening with the cards. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Cancer, Cancer. Yes. Are you ready to make a change? Are you ready for a new position? Are you ready to make a leap? Because this says yes. Ganesh is the elephant that grants wishes. It's a Hindu god. Ganesh. Flow of prosperity is coming to you. Whoa. That's good news. And start sharing who you are with the world. Come out of the closet. Are you a dancer? Are you a closet singer? Are you ready to be in a relationship with somebody who's not necessarily your age or different, same gender, or whatever it is? But it can be other things too. It can be that, you know, you really wanted to be a stylist and you went into law instead. It's time to step up and be who you are. And I have pulled too many oracle cards, but hey, let's put a couple tarot cards down for that. There's a startling new beginning, and you will get some advice on what direction to take. And on that note, Cancer, until next time, stay tuned, stay connected to me. I will be back after the 15th, sometime around the 16th, although I will try to get this in earlier than that. And on that note, be well. Scorpio, how are you? Let's jump right in here and talk about how these various aspects, these three that we've been talking about today, affect you. All right, so on Wednesday the 1st, we had a full moon in Libra that landed in your 12th. Hopes, wishes, secrets. But it squared Jupiter in Cancer. And Cancer, although it's a fellow water sign, is in the 9th house. So there may be this idea that you can't leave the homestead. You've got to stay where you are. You put the energy there, you've got to be there. But maybe you really don't want to do it anymore. So that's the push-pull of that full moon in Libra squared to Jupiter in Cancer. And it's big. On Wednesday the 8th, we had a Mars in Pisces sextile to Uranus in Taurus. And the Pisces part for you, Scorpio, is in the 5th of love and romance and children. And there's a harmonious connection to Uranus and Taurus in the 7th. So it could be a situation where you're in a long-term dating situation and now you want to make it more serious. Or you want to turn something in, you want to convince one of your partners, business partners, that you want to become a more creative company. But it is a workable situation. It might be that you've had to pull some strings and, you know, behind the scenes a little bit, and maybe you put together some planning boards. But this can be worked out. Mars in Pisces, sextile Uranus and Taurus. On Thursday the 9th, Mars enters Aries. Mars rules the sign of Aries. And where is it? In that 6th house of health, well-being, and how you work. All the planets, Scorpio, are in that 6th house for the next few weeks, at least. Longer, actually. And some of them for a long period of time. So you're being asked to reinvent yourself, possibly. But you're also being asked to give more consideration to your overall wellness. Exercise, eating well, finding ways of taking a break, all that good stuff. And then on the 9th, like I said, there's no going back. It's there to stay, because the need to reform and to improve is being held in place in part by Saturn in Aries, but also by Neptune, which will be in the sign of Aries, which employs your intuition. And it will be there for almost 30 years. So there is no going back. This is a process that you are well suited for, Scorpio. So let's take a look at the oracle cards. Let's use the Colette Baron Reed deck because it's fun. And let's see what card comes out as it relates to the oracle world at large. And we're talking about Scorpio. Fork in the road. Yeah, you're definitely fork in the road. You're ready to change course. You're going to do everything that we've been discussing differently. Maybe it's time to change up the type of movement that you're doing. Eating, dancing, line dancing, cooking with more natural products. I don't know. But you're definitely moving in a direction. And it also relates to the work you do. Many Scorpios are creators. They're chefs. They're artists. They're musicians. Are you ready to start coaching? Are you ready to open up your own studio? But there's definitely momentum for change. Scorpio. Let's take a look at some tarot cards. Queen of Wands. You have to be in charge. This is a Sag, Leo, or Aries, but this is about the energy that's being put upon you. And it's interesting because Aries, which is affecting this area of your chart of work and health, is a fire sign. And this card represents that. You carry everything emotionally on your back. 10 of Wands. Also a fire sign. It's partly why this is coming up right now, because it impacts the 6th house of well-being. There's a rebirth, the Death card. You're changing up. And it will be so good for you. You will be so happy. 9 of Cups. So Scorpio, keep all of this in mind. Let me know how you're doing. Drop me a line. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk soon. Pisces, how are you? I hope you're well. You're very sensitive souls. So let's start talking about what's going on. Wednesday the 1st, we had a full moon in Libra. And that was in your 8th house of change. Where, you know, everything. Changing your nail color, getting a new haircut, changing partners, dealing with your taxes. And it squared Jupiter in Cancer, and Cancer is in the 5th house. So there could have been a push-pull, or still is, between your love life and the changes that you want to make in your personal life. So it's very interesting. Or you could have found yourself not agreeing with something that you're doing that relates to that relationship. And it could also relate to children and your creative life. So, like I say, it feels like a tug of war. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces, in your 1st house, and it's about you, sextiles Uranus and Taurus, which is a positive thing. But it's all about you communicating your ideas and your brand. What is your brand? Maybe you don't have one. Maybe you don't want one. But it is how you appear in the world. And it's you sharing your ideas and coming out from behind the curtains and saying, this is how I want to do it. So let's take a look at some cards here and see how it impacts you. Again, I said this was a short, reading for you folks. But let's get on this. What is going on with Pisces? Chaos and conflict. So that's what you've been feeling. But let's see what's happening with the tarot cards. Chaos and conflict. Can you see it? It's a donkey and a horse. I don't know if you can see it. It's too glary. It's like the stripes are coming off the zebra. Well, whether you feel conflicted, there's opportunities here that will make you very happy. Doors opening that they didn't open before. 8 of Cups, emotional healing. I like it. I'll take it. Opportunity for a vacay, or at least taking a couple days off from work. And lastly, a real focus on your career, the 8 of Pentacles. So when you come back from that vacation, you're either going to be looking for new work, learning something new in the job, or really focusing and fine-tuning what you're doing in that area. Interesting. Pisces, have a great week. Like, share, and subscribe, and get back to me with your ideas. And I'll actually be back here a little around the 15th. Probably right on the 15th. Take care. Hello, Earth people. Actually, I should say Earth signs. I'm going to start out with Taurus. So, we are looking at the last 3 major transits. So on Wednesday the 1st, we had a full moon in Libra. And it's interesting because Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus. And Libra is in your 6th house of work and health. And it's squaring to Jupiter in Cancer. And that's in the 3rd house. So you could have had, and it didn't have to be huge, but a disagreement with somebody in the workplace, or you didn't see eye to eye, or you didn't do what they thought you should do. If physically, because it does deal with body beautiful, you could have had a disagreement with your doctor, with your trainer, with your wife, with your husband, with one of your kids, because they think you should do X, Y, or Z. So I hope you get to work that through. And you should. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces is sextiling Uranus. Now, and Uranus is in Taurus, in your 1st house. So Mars in Pisces is in the 11th. So there could be an interesting involvement with something in a large group. There could be somebody who's very interested in your talent. They could be watching you from afar. There could be something that you've been working on that they're very intrigued by. So that is that particular transit. On Thursday the 9th, Mars enters Aries. And for you, Taurus, that is in the 12th house. And FYI, all those Aries signs are marching through that 12th house until the end of the month, at least. It's all about secrets and concerns that you feel about your life purpose and your sexuality and your idea of of what you would really like to be working on or be part of. With Aries in that 12th house and all those planets being in that sign, you're really very much taken up with, why am I here? What am I doing? What do I provide the planet? What is my spiritual path? What is my work path? And where would I like to live? It also might be a secret that you've been hiding. You know, maybe, you know, you're a closet candy person, or maybe you really, really love ballet and nobody knows about it. So, or you are a dancer, or maybe you play the fiddle and nobody in the world knows that. So this is the energy when it's falling in the 12th house. Maybe you're very involved with religion and you'd like to share it with the world more. So these will be some of the issues that pop up for you with all of the energy coming into that 12th house from the sign of Aries. So let's take a look at it, the oracle card for you, Taurus, and see how it relates. And we will just pull a card. Milk and honey. This is a good period for you. There's joy in it. Can you see it without the glare? Milk and honey. Okay. Page of Wands. An interesting message coming to you. By the way, the Wands are fire sign. So Aries is a fire sign. So this is very apropos. Doors opening. The world is your oyster. You are at the end of a very painful sojourn. It's been hard. You will be consulting with somebody to figure out what your next steps are. Also more wands. Two of Wands. And you've probably been doing a balancing act between two different projects. So maybe it's time to consolidate. Taurus, I wish you well. Like, share, and subscribe. And until the 15th, take care. Virgo, how are you? Let's take a look at what's going on with you with just these few astrological transits. Hey, on the 1st, we had the full moon in Libra. And for you, that was in the 2nd house. All about money. All about production. All about, you know, manifesting. But it squared off to Jupiter in Cancer. And Cancer is in the 11th house. So there may be this disagreement with higher ups in a large organization. They don't want to give you a raise, or they're holding back a raise, or they don't want you to hire more staff, or any number of things where there's a push-pull between, you know, the corporation and your financial needs. So that will be the action, the energy that you're facing. On the 8th, Mars in Pisces, which is in the 7th house of long-term relationships, makes a harmonious aspect, and it's a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. And Taurus is in the 9th, and Pisces is in the 7th. So it could be a situation where your partner, whether business or otherwise, is discussing the merits of expanding, of going on a trip, of moving your offices to another part of the world, something like that. Very, very interesting. On Thursday the 9th, Mars and all the other planets have crashed through the door of into the sign of Aries. Mars moved into Aries today. I'm doing this on the 9th. and it's your 8th house. So all bets are off. You're in transition mode, whether it's through work, relationships, could be both. All the planets, like 7 out of the 10, will be in Aries. So it will be a non-stop focus on life change. And that is the story for you, Virgo, in all its glory. And particularly for people who are Virgo rising, but also Virgo moon and Virgo sun. So keep that in mind. So let's take a look at the oracle cards and see what's going on here with you, Virgo. But remember, you know, Aries in the 8th. It's all about transition. Completely. For the rest of the month, particularly. It's all about transitioning to a different state of being. It's about your sex, your taxes, relationships. I mean, the old days used to say sex, death, and taxes, but we've become much more, you know, how do you say this? Integrated. I mean, we include everything from haircuts to helping out relatives in this particular 8th house. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Artistic expression. This will relieve some of the pressure. Get out the paint box. Do something. And if you are an artist, this can be incorporated into the change you're experiencing. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. It's all about your great and glorious career. 8 of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. You've got the energy to pull this off. I know it's a lot of Aries. I know it's hard on the Virgo. You just have to rise to the occasion. You can do this. You are ready for a change. You've carried a big burden. Now it's time to regroup. Possibly a move or some type of major life transition where you maybe relocate the office at the very least. Breathe. Emotional healing. 8 of Cups. Okay, kids. It's a time for unique moments. We're up for it, right? Keep in touch. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me know how you're doing. Hey, if all you want to do is say you're okay, that'll be fine with me. Okay, take care, and until after the 15th, I'll see you then. And be well. Oh, Capricorn, how are you? This has been a very busy period for you. On Wednesday the 1st, we had the full moon in Libra, and it hit your career house, the 10th house. Full moons are about culmination points. You've finished up on a project. Maybe you're changing jobs. It squared Jupiter in Cancer. And Cancer is in your 7th house of long-term partnerships. So maybe the change in your career is impacting and upsetting your romantic partner. Maybe they don't want to move. Maybe they don't want to be sent to New Zealand. They've got 150 relatives in Connecticut. I mean, what are you going to do? Well, this is going on right now. And that's just one example. I'm being a little fanciful, but hey, it could be something like that because it does impact a long-term partnership. But it could even impact the work partner. You've taken another job and that person doesn't want to lose you. So that's happening. On Wednesday the 8th, Mars in Pisces, which is, I'm looking in your chart here, is in the 3rd house of communication. sextiles Uranus and Taurus in the 5th. It's happy, it's good, it's harmonious. So it gives you a chance, if this is about your long-term partnership, to share and the confusion that you're feeling about the work with this romantic partner, or with your children, or to work it, or work something out creatively so that you can make this situation benefit everyone. That's what we hope. And on Thursday the 9th, Mars and all the other planets in Aries, Mars enters Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. But what I meant to say was all the Aries planets come crashing in to your 4th house of home and family and mom, or the matriarch. It could be an auntie, or it could be other auntie, you know, extended family that all sort of own a piece of you. The 4th house is being directly impacted by the end of the month by 7 planets, all in the sign of Aries. Sounds like a Polish get-together where everybody's cooking different dishes, but it's happening. Now, Aries in itself doesn't have to be brutal. It's just loud, and everybody's got an idea of how to do it right. I mentioned Polish. I'm part Polish. But if you're Italian, Greek, Irish, it doesn't matter. It's all coming into this 4th house of the place you live, the people that love you, the family that cares about you, and particularly the women involved that act like mothers. Yes, indeed, Capricorn. This is a time that you'll never forget. Okay, let's take a look at an oracle card and see how that works for you. And Capricorn, Capricorn, Capricorn. Okay, what do we have? Let it go. You can't control this. There's nothing to control. Just let it go. And please sing the song out of Frozen. It'll help. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening with the tarot cards. You know the song I'm talking about? Let it go. Let it go. Yeah, you know. Sudden new beginnings. Comes from out of the blue. It's like a lightning strike. It's a happy, happy, happy situation. Somebody has decided to get engaged. Someone's getting married. You go to a wedding. You go to a party. When all those aunties crash your kitchen, whatever they make is delicious. It doesn't even have to be aunties. In my family, everybody cooks. Doesn't matter. Some of them do it well. Some of them don't do it well. It doesn't really matter, but it's fun. Okay? And it's creative. It's loving. Somebody could announce the upcoming birth of a child, because it's the Empress card. I have to take one more. And someone may have been offered a position of authority, or there could be a person who's involved in your life that has real power and clout that can help you. So, Capricorn, hang on to your booties. A lot's coming up. A lot's happening. And some of it's pretty exciting. So until the 15th, which is when my next forecast comes out, take care and be well.